So I decided to go by American, I guess, or European way um, of design thinking, and I'd like to explain based on design thinking stages how I was doing. I'm gonna tell shortly because I was thinking quite a long time. I cannot make in one short video because for me it took like quite a long time. I would need to record many YouTube videos, not one day, many days. But I just wanna kind of make a short video. I might make short video and then later I might make a bigger video on the same thing. So let me see. First of all, I'm gonna be using from the pictures. It says stages of design thinking. Okay. Well, the first stage, it says emphasize, and it says develop a deep understanding of the challenge. Okay. The second one is define. It says clearly articulate the problem you want to solve. So I'll be talking, let's say first two. Emphasize, okay, and it says challenge. Well, first of all, the emphasize. I was in New York City, okay. I was walking on the street of Manhattan, and I see a minivan. It says America Online. They were running different cables or line sets, okay. Now, at the same time, I did know from Ukraine, or like from my previous experience, about different networks. There are different networks, there are antennas, there are different wired networks, wireless networks, secure wireless networks, unsecure networks. In general, network is basically a connection between one user and second user. Network is just either wireless or wired, basically connection that allows you to communicate. Now, in 92, okay, no, actually 91, I've seen AOL in New York City. Then later, I started to talk. Well, I went to a computer shop, American computer shop. Inside of American computer shop, it was like UPS, I believe, or something like that. They only had computers, either Mac or I believe some PC, Mac and PC, and you can rent computer, and basically people were sitting doing some word processing or doing some resumes or some kind of stuff like that. And I talked to the owner about what if I want to communicate with other people using computer, how much it costs and all that. He said, we don't offer that. We don't offer it. So later I was, but I've seen in New York City, I've seen like AOL running cables, America Online, but then the computer shop is saying we don't have anything like that. So basically, from what I understand, that was mostly for like regional, let's say American Online, like that's like a regional kind of business. It appears to me what they call client server. Client server, basically they put in a region, certain region, mainframe computers, and those big capacity computers, and they allow people to access. Okay, now that kind of setup, I would say, well, in some way common. It's inside of the company common, but for external use, it's not really common. But in some sense, I guess it was like a more common way of client server. But America Online appears to me, instead of client server for inside use, they were doing client server for outside use, and they had certain offers, I guess. Now their look and everything 91 was different. That one I know it's not mine. So define challenge. What's the challenge? Okay, the challenge is okay, I see this. Okay, the challenge is, okay, I see that. Okay, there is OEL, but realistically, there is no business. Well, I did go, like in Minnesota. In Minnesota, I did not see America Online at all, actually. I don't know if they even go that far in 91. What appears to me, it's more like for New York City, you can have, you can have America Online. Basically, you access certain computers in New York City, and it's what I was saying, client server, which is for outside use. Okay, it's not for inside of the company. Those like Oracle, that would be client server kind of setup. Now, client server can be two kinds. One kind is like just keyboard and the screen and all computers inside, and then it could be a second setup, which computer has certain network card, and basically you're gonna use small part of computer and you will access those computers. Basically you're just gonna use a part of it. You're not gonna use the whole thing unless you wanna save or something. But the biggest part, all the programs, they're just sitting there, you're not using them. Of course, it was made for people who have computers, but you can eliminate many things. You can make just a small part kind of computer. Now, the challenge was for me. First challenge was there is no communication offered at the store, at the computer store. And the second thing is I've seen OEL, and what appears to me, that's a client server business, and it's strictly them. Okay. Now, if I have, hold on. If I have, let's say, a connection. Suppose I have a computer, right? Suppose I have a computer. At that time, in Minneapolis, I had what they call it, like IBM compatible computer. Okay, I got actually that computer for free. Okay, so what appears to me, you need to have a special computer. Even if AOL was offering America Online and all that, I'm not sure, because I never had America Online in 91. I'm not sure if it was even made for Mac. I'm not sure. I never tried it, because I know computer store did not have any kind of connection to network. Okay, maybe FBI had, but I'm talking about people. I'm not talking about FBI or CIA or certain kind of internal bank networks or whatever. I'm just talking about people's network. You see, for people. Okay, so. So for me, the challenge. What's the challenge? The challenge is, first of all, I like to explore. I like to check things. I like to communicate, but there is nothing out there. But there is America Online, but it's not offered at the computer store in my home. I was at that time in Minneapolis home. There is nothing at home that I can be connected. I was checking for connection. There is only like telephone line, like a stationary old telephone line. It does not offer you anything. So for me, it was the challenge just to come to a certain network that you come home and you explore from home. Originally, that was for home use. It was not really for business as like main focus, but it was like mostly for the for the for the home use. So I was thinking deeply about the network connections. Okay, suppose I am connected. How so how I'm connected? I was thinking how I can be connected. So because they did have like IBM, suppose IBM mainframe computers. They did have warehouse computers, Barnes and Noble computers. Okay, and I was thinking how I'm gonna put all this together to have certain e-commerce and exploring and networking, right? Because realistically, if there is nothing, you need to have certain kind of plan, right? So I was thinking about how to connect to others. So it would be like from home going where you need to have certain kind of a place that would direct you to certain business, and their computers should be open for public to access and all that. But I was thinking about that for a while, from the electronic point of view, how it's gonna work. And realistically, I thought after a while I started to think realistically. I don't think it's a way, and if it's a way, somebody would already take it. Somebody would already do it, because who would allow you, like say company like say IBM, who would allow any person after work at home to access IBM computers? He is not IBM worker. He has nothing. He is not the FBI or some kind of government or whatever on agreement checking something, because for me, I thought that I don't think it's a good way. I don't know if I switched to thinking it's not a good way. First of all, it's not your businesses, okay? If I have not my businesses, what's my part in it? Okay, I connect. I'm like a wire guy or cable guy connecting certain people, right? So for me, it was like I don't think it's a way. I don't think it's a way. So I switched to different thinking. And then beside that, I was thinking those people they work like eight to 5, and I want to explore after work, 8 to 5. They might don't like to run computers. After 5, maybe it's not gonna work, because many businesses, they did not keep running computers. Maybe some computer running, but not all of them. They didn't want to run computers. So I thought, now let me think another way. So I started to think another way. So the certain challenge, and then emphasize. I would say the second part, emphasize and clearly define the problem. The problem is, like I said, there is no connection. There is no nobody exploring, right? So and the normal way from home accessing some kind of company's computer, I don't know. I thought that's not real. That's not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. Or if it will happen, it will be so hard. I would experience big hardship for even dealing with those people. And it's not always what you want. You need to go with what they want. I did not work for AOL. I'm not sure what they had, but they had some kind of own stuff. But they did not have many companies. It was a one company offering certain things. They did not have access to different companies. It's a thing. See? My interest was like, actually, I turned to thinking about after work. My interest was like shopping online, many shops, many businesses, many things. Not like a little bit, a little bit. Like AOL, I would say their way was like everything made by them. AOL, everything made by them. Like say mainframe, whatever they put, there is nobody, no external businesses were adding anything there. Normally, that's what AOL was. It's like mainframe computers, like say, like let's say Oracle, right? Like kind of like Oracle, and they were adding like different things, whatever they think it's right. It's not people, it's not businesses. It's what they added, okay. And well, that's one of the solutions, I guess. But actually, it's in some way it's right thinking, because many companies will not allow you to access computers. At least you give them your own computers, okay. Now, my way, I started to think about AOL, but I want to be different. Originally, I did not want to be a copycat. I did not want to use anybody, because legally, I knew legally I need to be different. Otherwise, I cannot get money. If I use somebody else, I'm surprised people are getting money from my stuff. Normally, you cannot get money if it's not yours. You need to be different. I don't know how they made those tricks, You cannot really use AOL. In 91, you cannot do the same as AOL and put a different name. You just cannot. Okay? So, you cannot do the same. Because you have high obligations, you have investors and all that. What do you mean you do the same? It's a gray market, copycatting gray market or black market. You cannot do the same. Even now, like in France, take a look at France or Europe. Any products copycated, they stop. They do not allow sales of that product in France. So some might copy Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and so far, or make very close, change 1-2 letters. It's illegal. You cannot do that. You cannot sell it. So I did know about gray market, and actually I met one guy in New York City. He told me about there is gray, even black market and all that. And I was trying to be different. I did not want to be AOL. I did not want to run computers like the normal way. I just want to be some kind of on my own, right? So and I want to be on my own. So I define my certain problem, right, and solution. So I was thinking about my own way. Then later I came to, based on analysis, I came to a solution which is, for me, between users, I need a system. I don't need network. What they say network, like what they say network, internet, whatever, that's network. But in my case, I need a system between users. That's what they have, system. They don't have internet, believe me, that's not internet. Internet, when there is one user and the second user, and they use wires in interconnected way, so that if one connection lost, there is a second connection for people to use. They're not disconnected, so they interconnect. Now in my case, it's not interconnection. In my case, I have a system. I have a bunch of computers between users. In some way, I would say it is client server in some way. But in my way, it's not just one client server, it's a bunch of client servers with not interconnected way. In most cases, that would be considered as a star network. Star network is the same as I think it's called Star Network. Star Network is the same as, like, say, client server. Basically, you have computers. Let's say you have computers in New York City, and you have all kinds of cables from different users going to that spot. That would be Star Network, because it reminds you a star. It's like all kind of sun with many rays. That would be star network. It's not interconnected. Interconnected means, in normal way, if you look at books, like those MIT books, and interconnected means on your computer you should have few outputs. If one output has problem, loss, you can use another output and a different cable to reach the same person. But basically you have a certain way which is like other way. But you would need to have certain switch, or you have 3 network cards or 2 network cards, whatever. That's interconnected. Right now it's not interconnected. They are fooling about interconnection. Interconnected means you have few outputs, like on this phone. You only use one line, one phone number. What do you mean few outputs? I don't have few phone numbers. If one phone number some problem, there is no way I can be connected. You see, there is no way. And in many cases, like telephone lines, that's my system. Actually, that's how I came to. It's a system between users. In some way, it is like client server, but in a bigger sense. Okay, like say AOL was in terms of, let's say, New York City. I did not see AOL in Minneapolis at that time, and I did not see them inside of computer rental place in '92. I did not see it. So I came to my way of longer network and basically a bunch of kind of client server with external users, which is my external users at greater distance than AOL. AOL, like say local guy for New York. My computers can be outside of New York, but users in New York. So my way was different because logically, for me to have network international, I would need to locate my computers in a certain way that is good for international use, not so much focus on New York use. Like say, for instance, Mexico is contacting United States, and then it goes to any kind of city, right? Suppose Mexican person is contacting friend in Oregon, another Mexican is contacting friend in let's say Boston, right? Now I can run from Mexico to Boston, I can redirect there. So I can redirect and straight to Boston, or I can redirect straight to, like say, Oregon. Well, with that way, you assume a lot of wires. You're gonna have like a big spread of wires everywhere to every city, right? Which is one way. Another way, I put my computers in the middle of the country, approximately, Colorado, a little bit east of Colorado, approximate middle, right? Now, if that was my later thinking, that's what I came, because that's kind of solution already. That's the solution. So my solution was like that. I started to work on the solution because it was nothing, right? For me, I was thinking about solution. So solution, okay, and suppose one person contacting and it goes to the computers in the middle of the country. Now why I had computers in the middle of the country? Another reason, because I came to the e-commerce. At the same time, I was thinking about the commerce shopping you do after work. You need to have shops. I don't want to run users to the shop itself. Like I told you, I don't like users to access internal computers of the company. So I came to my own computers, and my own computer would have their stores, right? I would have design people, they have design people, they design certain sites, shops, right? So because of that reason, it's kind of one of the main reasons why I want to keep in the middle, because I want to keep all the shops somewhere. Okay? Because I don't want to use their shops, I want to use my system between users. Okay, so now, so I consider, okay, it's good to have in the middle of the country. That's solution. Now, but the guy, suppose, contacted another guy. He's in Oregon, another in Boston. But the reality is, because everything is on my computers, I don't need to have computers in Boston and Oregon. Okay? I need access of those people of my computer, but I don't need computers in that state. I can put computer any place I want, and it's just in the middle of nowhere. And but they would access my computer, right? Now, for me, email. Normal email is like on one end computer, another end computer. Bunch of messages would be going to one computer to another computer. But based on my system and network, I changed it to all the messages are staying on my system between users. It can be in the middle of nowhere, it can be, let's say, Colorado, east of Colorado. Now, but they need access, okay? So my idea was they have forms, like those computer forms. or access. That's what they made. They made, this icon. Actually, icon was mine too. So access, you access computers with the network, okay? And the email would be stored over there between the users, not on user end, but between the users, like say in Colorado, okay? So that's my thinking about the solution, okay? Now the stores, whatever you want to explore after work, would be stored over there too. Like say bunch of stores, like any kind, Bloomingdale, Macy's, Walmart, any store, it's stored over there. It's not stored inside of that company. It's stored on the system, like where I decide, not where they decide. And those computers actually are optional. It could be mine, it could be theirs. But, it could be, there is a big chance it's my computers. They design, but it's stored on my computers, okay? If I want. Now, that would be e-commerce. So e-commerce means there is no more their way. Their way, it means internal way, their computers. There's no more their way. There is my way, my computers, where I put, in the middle of nowhere, outside of the city, anywhere I want. And I will store those stores, what they call sites today, on my computers, and people access. Now if somebody contacted, they will contact my system too, and their messages are stored too. Their messages don't go to Oregon or Boston anymore. The messages are stored over there where my e-commerce. It's just different computers, okay? Now they have access. They have access. Somebody might think that you're running a long line. It looks kind of stupid. You're gonna run from one side to another side. Yeah, it's true. But before going into that, what they call them, the telephone system. Before 91, I did know about telephone system and about networks, wireless and networks in general, and telephone system. In telephone system, the delay because of the distance is very small. Believe it or not, it's very small. In normal conditions, the delay, like say somebody is calling from like Los Angeles to New York, the delay is very small. And believe it or not, the processing computer, delay can be much greater than delay of the length of the wire. So for me, I was thinking, people are calling on the phone and they don't mind a little delay. They don't even notice the delay. There is delay, but there is not such a huge distance. The travel of the signal through the wire, there is delay, but it's so tiny one. You're gonna sit way longer actually, waiting for computer to process. The processor and whatever electronics you have inside the computer might take much longer time than any kind of those wires. So I was like, yeah, there is delay. I might bump or I might do something just to compensate to have less delay. I mean, I did come to certain system logically, how it's gonna be, what I'm gonna explore, and to worry about small delay. I thought, I mean, just to have higher technologies to have less delay. And another thing, the networking. I was thinking about networking. The networking, I don't know if I said to. I think I've said it should be fast processing. To me, those my sites and my whatever the accessing computers should have a fast processing. So if I have faster processing on my end and a little delay on, let's say, on a road, altogether it's not going to be slower than their computers. So what's the deal? I just kind of manage in a way of don't be slower. I can find a way it's gonna be like their computer, because their processors are not that great. Every computer, like a normal processor, they're not that great. They're quite slow and they don't allow many things. And if I put much better processors on my end, they will make faster than their computers. And plus, even if there is small delay on the road, that delay would be much less. With my processor altogether, it could be much less. So actually, I do not really, I'm not behind with it. If I consider client server like sitting inside of Oracle or IBM or any other kind of company, I can be quite good. It takes some effort, but you could be close. Now, that's solution. Another solution. Then I thought, every time I have computer in the middle of the country, then I started to think about international use. For me, it's kind of like stupid. Why would I need, like, say from New York, if I send a message or explore computers to Europe, right? Why would I need to go to Colorado and back to Europe? That looks strange. So in that case, I came to redirecting. That's why, based on my system, you see, first part is redirecting, then you have servers. So like, if somebody is contacting, let's say, or exploring in New York and submitting to Europe, first it goes to redirecting, right? So it will avoid the Colorado, and it will redirect to Europe. See? Now in Europe, you have certain split too. So my other part of system is that redirecting, it can take time too. So that's actually, I'm more concerned with that taking time than the wire itself, because all the redirect. Now it can be bumped up in a certain way again by processors, by certain faster ways. Just, I don't like to be behind for the speed, behind of client server setup, which is like inside of the company. I like quite fast. I don't like sitting and waiting for like forever, so that would be solution for the it's shortly, it's not everything. Of course, I was thinking of short. Another side solution for me was those short wireless. I came to the idea of short wireless that you can use at home or you can use inside of coffee shop, because I thought coffee shop, I was thinking about the network inside of the business, but then I thought, okay, for business is okay, but if you have your own computer and you come and I like to be connected and everybody trying to connect by wire, it looks kind of goofy to me, kind of strange. Everybody trying to connect cable or disconnect cable, or cables hanging somewhere. I thought it's just shortwave wireless is better. It's just less headache, more convenient. That's what I thought, So let me see what else they say. Actually, I actually stepped into third stage IDA because the second stage articulated the problem. I did articulate, but I was talking about the solution, which is brainstorming and all that. It's actually third stage already. I did tell you about third stage too. To me, the second stage articulate the problem. It can be a very short problem in my case. There is no network people explore after work. There is no way I can rent computer to communicate anybody in Europe or anywhere else. That's I can for second stage articulate the problem very short. But the solution part can be very long. The problem can be very simple problem. People don't have, but the solution can be like forever. So I was telling you actually about the solution. Ideate it would be third stage. Now I get home. I have low battery on my phone right now, so I get home maybe I might charge it in the car and continue. But anyway, that would be a stage where third stage. I touched the third stage. I told you, which is solution brainstorming. Or some consider some other solutions, ways. You can use any. You just sit and think, about possible ways. Like in my case, possible ways. Okay, possible ways of network. But in my case, I did know about electronics. I was soldering something before that. I did solder different parts. I do know about transistors and resistors, capacitors. I did try different boards, work on boards. It's not like I have nothing. But I was thinking from the point of view. Create network, but how it's gonna work in terms of connections and how you run and how you're gonna have all together and how it's gonna look. Because exploring is exploring. People just come and click the button, click on icon, but where it goes and how it's gonna work together and where people have what. First of all, what do you have in mind? What you want to have? Like I want to have store, right? Exposed store. Then how I'm gonna make them? Where I'm gonna put them? That's I guess a solution. That's the idea. Okay. Now I'm gonna charge this phone, and I continue later because I have little battery.